Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that time lapse. I just went ahead and knocked this out. So I got a pair of ZZP valve covers, got them all welded up for the LS coils. Also got something very exciting in the mail. But as you can see, these turned out really great. It'll be serviceable, be able to unbolt the coils from the valve covers themselves independently. I'll be able to use LS coils. These are D585 coils, I believe they are. Really great. Added some -10 breathers to both valve covers, so I'll be able to add a catch can. I will need to get some different kind of wires because these are a bit too long. This side would be fine. The other side does interface or interfere with the alternator there. But going to an LS coils means I'm going to a standalone ECU. So I just got this in the mail. I'm super excited. Holley Terminator, new wire harness, new injector harness, fuel pump harness, and biggest thing is the Terminator computer itself. So with this standalone, I'll be able to do pretty much everything I'll want to do with the Fiero to make it as crazy as possible. I mean, I'm gonna start out with kind of like a mild build with the turbo and just get it running and everything, especially with like the stock drivetrain it has. I mean, with this this motor here, should be able to handle quite a bit of boost, quite a bit of power. I don't exactly know the power rating for the stock bottom end. It's just an L67 bottom end. But I'm gonna find it. I'm going to pretty much put on, normal turbo. It's a GTX 3582R to start. But after that, once I get situated and kind of learn, the Holley tuning a bit more, I'm definitely gonna be putting a bigger turbo on it. So with that being said, very excited for, the engine, the progress I made here. This is almost ready to get swapped in, especially now that I have the Holley. I can basically just do the full swap. But we're going to continue with the suspension rebuild. Got to get that done. We're going to be getting new tie rod ends on, going to be getting the control arms added, reinstalled. They got the new polyurethane bushings, got new ball joints. Going to be also doing some steering rack upgrades, some new bushings for those, sway bar bushings, and then I'm also adding a rear sway bar, so that'll help sip in the rear for, drag racing, just whatever else to make it more stable. But yeah, guys, I'm super excited for this, all the progress I'm making. If you'd like to support the channel, join as a member down below. You get early access to the new videos. And yeah, be sure to leave a comment down below and let's get back to work. All right, guys, we're back. As you saw, I just did a bunch of work here. I'm about to put the passenger side boot back on. I ordered 2 new boots, but I don't think I definitely didn't order the right one. It was just kind of like the standard one you saw on the other side. So this side where it has a stabilizer, damper or whatever for the steering needs a special boot. I don't even know, this wasn't even on Rock Auto, so that's fine. Got this side all done here. Got a new tie rod end, inner, outer, new boot. We also got, Prothane sway bar bushing here. Here's the new dual stabilizer. So they're beefier and they come with the Rodney Dickman, spacers here. So you can add 2. The old one is definitely, it seems factory because I don't even think you can buy this style anymore. It doesn't, like, you can hear a bunch of air in it. It's not very hard to compress. Also, it doesn't extend, like, at all compared to these ones. I also replaced the steering bushings here, so these ones seemed like they might have already been replaced at some point. These might be polyurethane, but, I mean, probably just factory rubber. One thing I did notice with the car, when I had it driving on its, you know, ancient suspension or whatever it was, I would move, like, the steering or hold the wheel, and I'd feel, like, movement inward and outward from the steering rack. So now that I've replaced the steering rack bushings, it actually seems very stable. So, like, I can't pull it in or out at all. And it was maybe just, like, the smallest amount of play that I was feeling before. So that's good that it's feeling better now. Now I just got to get this boot back on, be able to get the tie rod in, and then replace this bushing. And then I can basically start reassembling the driver's side suspension. Just get the lower control arm in, upper control arm in, the spring, kind of compress it, and get the knuckle in, get all the ball joints bolted up, and should be good to go. Well guys, we're back. We're going to be continuing on the Fiero. I got all the control arms ready. Like, basically this is all ready. As you saw before, we got the steering arm. Oh, I can't get under there, but we got the steering rack, new bushings in, the double damper, new tie rods. Also gave it the good old Rust-Oleum spray paint for the calipers, so we're gonna go ahead and get those on. My plan is to be able to get the Fiero running just stock on its stock motor, take it to the drag strip and see what it does, and then move on to the 3800 swap here. So down in the comments, guys, let me know. Do you want me to run this NA first and see what kind of times I get, or should I just go straight for the turbo? What do you guys think?
I think you should, well,
I want to see what it does at PIR, how it is.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is stock, it's gonna go, but I mean, when I go to 3800 swap, should I start NA or go straight for the turbo? Because I have read that's usually an easier transition to tune it NA, then go boosted.
Yeah, that's true. I think that was going to save you some headache.
Also, it will...
Tuning's going to be a fucking...
Yeah, I saw Austin comment on one of the last videos, and he mentioned that it'll also make the transmission probably last a bit longer, the 4-speed, before I swap to the 5-speed.
True.
So, yeah.
I think that's going to be minimal.
What?
Like, if that is what helps your transmission, that's going to be minimal.
Possibly, that's very true.
Yeah, like, that's going to maybe help a little bit.
I mean, this thing, stock NA, with the XP cam, what other power outers does it have? I mean, it have the full exhaust and everything. And
you got the cam, you got the lifters, you got...
the bigger throttle body.
Slightly
ported and polished heads.
You're going to have, I mean, if you use the
yeah, it'll be easy
intake, then I mean it's more free throat. It's freer intake, so I mean that's probably going to give you a little bit of horsepower, maybe a few. I
mean, this thing probably be making like 200 some wheel.
I think that it probably make like 280, maybe 265 horse, like to the wheels. Because I mean,
that's something else we should do. We should do an NA first, get it tuned, then take it to the dyno, see what does NA. That
actually be great to actually see what this engine made.
We should all put in a number now and see what it comes up as later.
I'm going to guess 215 wheel.
I'm going to think, well, you got to imagine, this is a 200
Whoever's
wheel.
furthest off has to buy lunch.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll agree to that, because this is a 200 horsepower engine without mods.
To the crank.
Yes,
to the crank without the mods. So to the wheels, okay, I'm going to guess 250.
That was my guess. Fuck.
When you go 249.
Price is right, 249. Yep.
So you think 250, you think 249, I think 215.
215.
Yep.
All right, we can get Isaiah's guess, and then you know what? Whoever guessed the closest in this video, we'll buy them lunch.
There you go. But yeah, I'm trying to think what I mean. It's got the, it's just got the cam and the drivetrain. We can, rev it out farther. NA probably 7,000 RPM.
Yeah, I think these lifters wouldn't have an issue.
Rev to 8250.
Yeah.
That would kill this motor.
Be a voodoo. But yeah, guys, we're gonna go ahead and start with this first. You gotta, walk before, crawl before you can walk before you can run. So just gotta get the suspension good because this thing is a death trap as is. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and get started with this. Be right back. All right, guys, we're back. There was a lot of time lapsing, but we got this almost completed. So as you can see, I got the new upper and lower control arms, spring, the KYB gas adjust, brake caliper, new center hub and rotor installed, new inner and outer tie rod. Everything just needs to be greased at this point. I did torque it down with the suspension loaded, so there was weight on it. Only issue was the tie rod end link. So I got the Rodney Dickman zero lash end links, and I have them over here. You might have saw me struggling in the time lapse, but this is kind of the result. The issue is the lower control arm where this part connects to. It's recessed right down in there. So it sits in there, and there's no way to get a tool on there to kind of hold it. So inversely, the top, you see this little notches. You're supposed to hold it. Otherwise, it'll spin when you try to tighten the nut. Also, in combination with this, it comes with locking nuts, and it got completely stuck on the thread here. When I turned it, I think it just stripped the threads. I think if I had a normal nut, it would have helped a bit more. But it basically got stuck on this one. I had to cut it off because it just was stripped. I could not loosen this nut off the thing. Then I tried it with the other one. I was just like, I get one side done and just see if I can buy another spare one. But again, I got this one like 90% of the way there, but there's no way I can hold this straight while tightening at the bottom. And I used a standard nut, not a locking nut, so I was able to spin easier. Still couldn't even get it. So I'm thinking at this point, I'm just gonna get stock, or not necessarily stock, but stock style polyurethane end links. So just something from Prothane or whatever. They're really cheap, and I can pretty much get them tomorrow. So other than the Rodney Dickman stuff, which will take a bit longer. And I think the only way I could do that is if I disconnected the lower control arm, or at least took the spring out just to get some more room in there, which I don't know, I'm still debating. It's not a whole lot of work to do that, but I'm already at the point where I have everything back together, so I didn't want to have to do that. If I do decide to do that, I'll buy them, and then when I go to do the other side, which is not completed, I'll at least know I need to do that, before I install it. Just get the lower part bolted up first, and then the upper part can be installed later. You can see a standard sway bar end link style like this, but just new hardware, polyurethane. It's kind of standard, and this thing isn't going to be like a road racing car or anything crazy. It's going to be a track car for like drag racing. So front sway bar, most people in drag racing just disconnect them anyways. So all that really matters is stiffness in the rear. So I think I'm just gonna go with the stock ones. It sucks that I just wasted a bunch of money on this. I don't think these were like super expensive, like $45 or something. So not the end of the world. Would have been sick if I could have used them. I'm still not decided. Just let me know down in the comments what you guys think if I just go stock sway bar and links, or get a new set and make it work. A couple other things before we end off this video I did off camera. is I installed a new short shifter. So the stock one that I had on here was kind of gross and old, and I wanted something that showed the shift pattern on here and kind of look a little bit more retro. They don't make many shift knobs with this kind of thread pitch, so what I ended up doing is I bought a, I think it was 5/16 by 18 thread pitch stainless steel bolts. Cut off the shift rod there, and then just welded on the bolt. It's a better view of it. That way I can just thread on my shift knob. Just bought off eBay. Took off an inch, so much shorter, much less throw. Feels really good, and I like how retro it looks just with the you know, 4-speed on there. So that was a great addition. Lastly, and this is a really big one, I kind of regret not getting this on camera, but I got a new dog bone mount off eBay because the one I had was broken right down here. It wasn't connected at all. It only had a loose bolt going to the cylinder head down there. It's gonna be impossible for me to show on camera. So this was just not connected. Like, since I was broken, any movement here with the dog bone was able to like rock the bolt. So I replaced the, I got the new mount off eBay, got that. This actually came with either a West Coast Fiero or some kind of aftermarket dog bone, tubular dog bone, so that's nice. I removed the rust and I just repainted it with some Rust-Oleum. Then I got the lower motor mount disconnected, got it replaced with a new just stock replacement. Any of the mounts in here, like the transmission or the motor mounts, are just stock. I didn't get anything crazy like polyurethane. So this thing is rock solid now. The 2 transmission mounts, the motor mount, and then the upper dog bone. So this thing is rock solid. I can't even shake it. Once I replaced the 2 transmission mounts and I had the old blown motor mount and dog bone, it was much stiffer, but I can still move it by hand. But now it's rock solid, so that'll help shifting even more. It'll help, you know, just pretty much everything. You don't want everything rocking in the motor, especially with this, since the engine's in the back, it actually acts like a pendulum sitting back here. So the more secure you can make it, the better the handling will feel. In addition to that, I've been trying to hunt a high idle issue. I ended up taking the intake manifold off, replacing injectors, doing the intake manifold gaskets, double checked all the vacuum lines. I removed some unnecessary stuff since the EGR was deleted, but high idle's still there. I think the problem is I just need to reset the intake air control valve and take it on a drive. That's what I read online. All I've been doing is resetting the intake air control valve, and that hasn't really helped. It'll idle perfect for like 15 minutes and then it'll not work. It'll go back to its high idle, but I don't drive it. So someone online said you need to reset it and then drive around the block for like 30 minutes just to get it all acclimated, and then that should fix the high idle. So I will try that. But otherwise, I mean, this car's running great. I'm very excited to take it to PIR and see what it does stock. It'll be on the new rear coilovers. It'll have new front shocks, new suspension everywhere. I got a new windshield. This might not be a big deal to some, but I got new windshield wipers. We're coming into the rainy season, you know. But I think that's going to do it for today. Again, let me know down in the comments if I should go NA or boosted first. Also, let me know if I should just bite the bullet, buy a new Rodney Dickman sway bar end links and install them properly, or just go with the stock ones. I'm leaning to the stock ones just because it'll be much easier. I can get them tomorrow and just get it running much faster. But those things were pretty cool. I really wish I could have made those work. My fault for busting them. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Be sure to join us as a member down below. You get early access to my new videos. It seriously helps me out and the channel. You know, it helps me fund all these cool projects. Very excited to get the Turbo 3800 swapped in there. But that's going to do it. Leave a like, subscribe, comment down below. We'll see you next time.